Hi, I'm Rachel Wade, and this is All of Us. Today I am interviewing my great friend Brittany Williams, and we are going to be talking about what it's like to be a military spouse or a woman or even a man perhaps that moves often and finds himself having to build community in different places. As you know, All of Us is a place where we can find connection in our everyday lives as women of Christ that are following Him, knowing that we're all connected through not only each other, but with Him being the source that's the same. So with that, I would let my friend Brittany introduce herself.
Hi everybody, my name is Brittany Williams and I'm currently 29 years old. I have been married to my wonderful husband for 7 years, and he's been in the United States Coast Guard as a search and rescue pilot for about 18 years at this point. We have two daughters, 5 and 3.
Awesome. So talk to us about, we'll just get right into it. Talk to us about your Jesus journey. How did you begin to know the Lord? Were there influencers or people in your life that helped you meet Him? Let us know what that journey was like for you.
Absolutely. So growing up, I remember coming to know God really in my time outside as a young girl. I was raised in Western North Carolina, and I just remember praying out loud and talking to Him. My family and I personally didn't attend church every Sunday, but I would attend with my best friend, and so I was getting scripturally fed that way. But I really attribute my walk and my relationship with God to my grandmother's diligent prayer life. I believe that she prayed over me, and that's why I have the relationship with God that I do today.
The power of a praying mom, wife, spouse, that matters, planting those seeds in prayer. When you get to know Brittany, I think one of the things that's worth pointing out is that, she loves nature. She loves being out hiking and biking and running, and it's a part of who she is and what she loves. And I love how God met her in a place that would speak to her. And I think so often we think that God can be an unpersonal God when really He's not. He loves to meet us just right where we're at. So I hope that encourages you all today to know that wherever you're at in your spiritual walk, that God will meet you there. So with that, Brittany, tell us about this military life. I mean, there's a lot of moves. It takes you from place to place, state to state. Right now, you're currently stationed in Hawaii. What is that like to pick up and move and leave church and friends and schools and familiarity and have to start all over again so many times?
That's a great question. And I guess the easiest way is to give you an analogy. If you've ever had a can of cola or pop or soda, wherever you're at, what you want to call it, you shake it and then you open it. And that's really what it feels like emotionally and spiritually, I feel like, with every move. And so your world is kind of upside down and inside out.
Yeah. And so with those moves, I'm sure that can be tough. What type of emotions for you personally does that bring up? Has God met you in those moments? Talk to us a little bit about what that feels like emotionally.
Sure. To be fully transparent, before we moved to Hawaii, we were in San Francisco, and there was a lot of spiritual growth here for me, and it's where I became a mom. And so I really was crying out to God, like, why, God? Why do we have to leave? Why did I have to make these awesome friendships, and then just to leave them? And so there's times where I'm mad at God and I pout. And, ultimately, He's gentle with me in those moments. And through my, turning to scripture and my devotions, He comforts me as well. Just like with any other relationship, when you get mad at your mom or your sister or your husband, you kind of wrestle it out a little bit. So
Sure. And then I'm sure that can also bring maybe times of loneliness and isolation. How has God met you in those moments?
Well, as you all know, we serve a faithful and wonderful God, and so he always hasn't been a PCS yet where He hasn't provided me with the community and the friends. Usually it's one or two good friends that I can lean into during those hard times, that I can call on to help me, like with the kids or just to go get coffee. So He really does. And as Rachel said earlier, nature and being outside is a really important part of me and my relationship with God. So everywhere we've gone, that's kind of one thing that I'm always looking for, is like, where's that connection point, that charging dock where I can go and just hear God clearly and be in His presence through His creation.
That's a great tip, so for anyone that you find yourself, moving to a new place, because this is not just about being a military spouse, although that does have you moving, but there's plenty of people out there that are single or just have jobs that move them around. And so you mentioned finding kind of those things that kind of give you that foundation. So for you, it's nature. What about if you're an introvert? I mean, I feel like you're more of an extrovert and you're more bubbly and that's your personality. But I mean, what about for the person that doesn't really find themselves easy to like make friends? Any tips or pointers for them?
Yeah, well, so certainly, and as much of an extrovert I am, I do love my alone time as well. Just ask my husband.
That's good. That's another interview.
Yes, another interview. But for the introverts out there, step one is just to pray about it. Say, God, you know me, you created me. You know that I get nervous in front of people or in large groups. But as my husband's grandmother used to say, you do have to put feet to prayers. And so whatever that is for you, whatever that might be look like, God will reveal it to you and how you can make that connection with other people in your circumstances.
So good, so good. So finish these statements for us.
Okay.
God is...
He is powerful and wonderful, and he doesn't make any mistakes.
That's good. All of us are better when
we are together, and together we're moving towards God and his kingdom.
Oh, good. And so, final thoughts. If you were to speak to the one person out there that's watching that moves often or is a military spouse that just finds themselves not being able to connect to community wherever they are, what would you tell them?
That's a good question. And I think it's applicable to so many. I would say, first of all, be kind to yourself, to just know that it's okay to be angry, to be sad, and then to even be excited, if you're leaving family, it's okay to be excited that you're leaving and going on to a new adventure that God has called you to. But it's okay. Just lean into God, honor where you're at, and everything is going to be okay. I know it might feel this is permanent, but remind yourself that it's not. The situation is going to pass.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for interviewing me.
To find more out about Brittany and her story, you can visit allofus.net and you can hear her entire interview. Also, there's a book that one of our dear friends has written. Her name's Shauna Pilgreen, called How to Live Sent in the Place You Call Home. And that link is available on the website as well. So thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.